Hi everyone, this is Joy with Create It with Joy. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. Today's card, I'm going to be using My Favorite Things Easter Bunny stamp set along with HoneyBee stamps, Honey Cuts, their cute farm fence, and these two things together have made a really cute scene. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to be doing is using some Distress inks in Mowed Lawn because I'm going to be cutting some grass using My Favorite Things Grassy Hills die. So what I wanted to do with this card is all of my colors, I want them to be the same. Or sometimes you may cut out a die cut out of colored cardstock, a green cardstock. That's not what I wanted to do this time. So I cut that green cardstock that I just colored twice. So now I'm taking the Honey Cut farm fence from HoneyBee stamps. I'm lining that on my paper where I want it to be, and I'm doing a couple little marks so I know where to do some ink blending in the back, how far up I want to go. Now I'm going to use my Misty, and I am taking the InkBlot Shop Get Grounded and one of their cute little grounded pieces, and I am going to be inking that up in Distress Oxide ink Gathered Twigs. Again, I wanted all of this to kind of be the same. So you can see that I've inked up that piece of ground, and now I'm going to be taking Gathered Twigs and going a little bit lighter and inking up the bottom portion of my card. I did go back and make it a little bit darker underneath the ground, and I used a really small, not the mini ink blending tool, the detail blending tool from Ranger. As you can see, that's what I'm using right now. And that I got right up to the line and didn't go over. I felt like I had a little bit more control. And then I took the mini ink blending tool and blended that out. So I have my piece, I cut out two pieces of grass because I'm going to have one in the foreground and then one against the fence. Now I'm going to be taking Mowed Lawn because again, I just want to keep everything in the same exact color family, and I'm inking that up because you will see that behind the fence once you have that die cut. So that's basically how I'm going to lay this card out. Now I am taking the stencils from My Favorite Things. I'm using Rays of Light, and that's this one, and My Favorite Things Cloud. So I am using tumbled glass, and when you're inking this up, don't go all the way up to the top because you will see what I'm going to come back over with the clouds. So some of the pieces I went up, some of the pieces I didn't go quite as far. It makes it look a little bit more natural. So now here is Salty Ocean, and I'm using the My Favorite Things Cloud Stencil, and just, even though this is a darker color, I am doing it a lot lighter. And it kind of looks like then sometimes when you go outside and you see those rays going through the clouds, that is the look that I was going for. I think it turned out great. Took a little bit of the tumbled glass and blended that out at the bottom, right where the green grass meets, if that makes sense. Super, super light because I didn't want to get rid of those rays. So now I'm going to die cut, or I've already die cut this fence. And it comes with, this is the fence part that's already hooked together, and then the second part of it is like the slats of wood that would go on top of this fence. Really is a really super cute die, you guys. So now I'm going to do some coloring, and I am going to let you guys listen to some music. I've got all the colors up on the screen, and I will be back shortly. These little bunnies from this stamp set from My Favorite Things, I think, are so darling. Okay, so let's put this fence together. I inked that up. You can use a liquid glue. I just used a tape runner. And the way I'm laying it out, I didn't have to cut more pieces. I just adhered some down, cut off the excess, adding my next full piece. I cut out 2 full pieces of this. Adhered that, make sure it's straight. And then you've got the rest of that first piece that you can stick onto the left side of the card. So I just trimmed off the parts that I don't need. Once again, using my little ruler so I can line things up. Sorry about my head, you guys. But make sure that this is glued on straight. Nobody wants a wonky fence. I mean, unless it's like a Halloween card, then that'd be great. Trim off the excess, of course. And then now it's time to glue on the slats, and I'm just using my Arranger's Multimedia Matte Glue. It gives a little bit of time to move things around, and using my tool-in-one just to help line things up. And now you don't have to do this in all white. You could have that background piece like black, because it does give a little bit of a shadow. When you put the top piece on, you can see a little bit of that background fence behind it. And then I cut out 2 extra board pieces, and I am going to be adhering those on the 2 slats that are in the open area, next to the open area, like it's posts, if that makes sense. Now it's time to adhere the grass, and I'm adhering that directly to the fence, but not over the post part, which that's just a personal preference. You guys could do whatever you wanted to do. And then the grass piece in the foreground, I am going to pop that up with foam tape and adhere that down while I'm letting the other grass piece dry, because I'm going to trim that off and use that trimmed piece for the other side of the fence. So just let that dry long enough, and it dries pretty darn quick. And then adhere that down and let that dry. I really love how this card came together, you guys. So those cute grouping of eggs that you colored, or that I colored, excuse me, I'm going to trim one of those off because this is going to be tucked down in the grass. You're not even going to see that you've trimmed it. So I wanted this to look like the Easter eggs are hiding. Maybe he hid them. Maybe he's the Easter bunny that hid them, or maybe he's the cute little bunny that's going to find them. We just don't know. It could be whatever story you want this little scene to tell. Now I took those other grouping of eggs and adhered those by the fence. And now I'm going to adhere my bunny. He's got some foam tape underneath the bottom part of him, and then liquid glue behind his head. Then I'm taking my green marker and just coloring in those little pieces of grass. Now let's stamp the sentiment. I am using peacock feathers because I wanted to bring some of that teal up to the top of the card, because that's what I colored his big main Easter egg in. So stamp that twice and we're good. Add a little bit of black glaze pen to the eyes, a little bit of white to the eggs, a little bit of highlights there. And I love how that looks. I didn't want to do too much detail on those because I kind of wanted the egg in his basket to be the main deal. So I am using Nuvo glitter drops in Aquatic Mist, and I am tracing around on that egg, not the dots, just around those dots. Some cute little dots, little white freckles on his cheeks, and then I'm taking my one of my brown markers, probably I think it was E37, and adding some dots of dirt around, all around the bunny, onto the ground. And that just adds a little more dimension to what's going on, that he's on this cute little dirt path. So again, using Nuvo glitter drops in Aquatic Mist and Nuvo crystal drops in Caribbean Ocean to add a few little details around the sentiment, which you do not have to do, but I felt like it needed a little something up there. And a little more detail to that basket. And look how cute that card is, you guys. I love it. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. If you like what you've seen, please thumbs up, share, subscribe, all of those things. I love it. All the supplies I used are listed below. There are some affiliate links that cost you nothing, but it does help me to continue to create, and I appreciate you guys so very much. I'll be back.